What's up, Taven? So, this is a breakdown on what I did on your beat for the song with manners. That way, you can learn. We can go from there. All right. So, first things first, let's just go straight to your beat. I'm not even gonna look at the vocals yet, just because I don't want that to be something that you even have to think about. Bus one, two, bus one, two, two. All right, cool. Boom, boom, boom. So this is your beat with only some gain staging, meaning I just dropped some vocals, I just dropped some of the sounds down. That pluck sound, I kind of panned it a little bit more to the right, just so it kind of gives it some more air, and then I added a bass line. I think you did. No, you did, or did I? There's a bass line on here now. So starts off. Kept it really, really simple. Okay. There you go. Low drop. Now, this little part that I added for you right here, just to kind of give it a little bit more swing, was actually fairly simple how I did it. I'll show you real quick. So what I ended up doing was I ended up getting this sound right here, this pluck sound, copied it, put a triplet on here, pasted it, and I believe I went so I did all of that, and then I grouped it together, so it's basically just a sound. Okay, which was cool, but what I wanted to create like kind of like a brink. So then what I ended up doing was, and on FL Studio you have gross beats, so you can do this probably a lot better than I'm doing it. I use Verify Speed Up. What it does, it basically gives it like the turntable speeding up sound. So hit that, and then there it goes. Simple, easy, and here it again. That's it. So that's pretty much, me, I'm just listening to it. I got your whole sounds, and then what I also ended up doing was I put little cuts and drops in between, like right here. You know, just to kind of add a little bit of, add some pull, some bounce. Alright, so that's just what I did before everything. Now let's start with your main melody, that boom, boom. So right off the rip, I added a compressor just to kind of beef it up a little bit more. I saturated it, just give it some air, some hiss, and then I EQ'd that little middle part, because this is where your kick is going to be at. So I kind of wanted to make sure your kick was able to breathe some more. On your secondary melody, the synth, I just took off the low end and I cleaned up some of the high end right here and lifted up the mid, just to kind of like make it cut through. Parametric Q2 on FL Studio looks like this, you know. So I'm just going off of the frequencies that I see and hear. On the snare, your clap, I did basically the same thing. I just kind of tamed the high a little bit because it was a little too aggressive for me. So that's, the beat was pretty solid. You did a pretty, really, really good job mixing it. A lot of it is just pretty much gain staging. Then what I ended up doing, I put all of the drums on one simple bus, which is this one right here. And I threw a quick limiter just to fatten them up, make them really cut through. I wanted to make sure that you felt the drums more. I love the way you did that kick. And then after I did all of that, I put all of the drums and the melodies in another bus. And what this is going to allow me to do is kind of blend them together. So here's this. And now they're a full track together. next, Young Man recorded his verse. Now, for mixing recording, I'm just going to go through this really, really quick. A lot of it is by ear. So, we're just going to listen to it with the effects on it first.
Dancing my way through this life. Look how I do it so nice. Thank God for all these devices. Fighting through all of my vices. And I don't know why I might flip amongst the mass of the giant.
Alright, cool. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away all of the EQs, all of the effects that I put on it. Now listen to it again.
Dancing my way through this life.
So you see how it sounds a little bit dull? So we're going to go backwards. What did I do? So right off the rip, he only recorded one verse, but I usually double them up. That way it gives me a fatter sound. That's these two right here. So that's why they look almost identical, because they are identical. I don't move the frequency any which way because I don't need to. On the first main vocal, I add a subtle stereo enhancer just to kind of give a little bit more body to the sound. And then on the secondary one, what I ended up doing was I wanted to make it an exciter. So an exciter is when you use a secondary wave that's identical, but you raise more of the high and you cut the low, just to kind of get that sound, that real crisp sound. So let's do it again. And then I added a reverb on that secondary one, just so I can kind of tame it a little bit more, control it some more. So, one more time. Dancing my way through this life. Look how I do it so nice. Thank God for all these devices. Fighting through all of my vices. That's all I've done on the actual vocals themselves. And then on all of them, because I ran all of these to their own bus, so I can actually, so that I didn't have to go through each one specifically. I already know the ones that needed to get touched. All the rest of them, I mean, they can just go with the basic, my basic EQ. So I have a template for manners. So I'm gonna go through each one. This is my EQ, followed by the compression to fatten up the vocals, make them cut. And then lastly, after I use my compression, I throw a second EQ to clean up, lift up, kind of pick up any frequencies that may have been lost in the process. All right, because all we're really doing is cutting. We're not adding anything, except for I think I just added a little bit of mids. But for the most part, I cut. Alright, so first things first, we'll go with the first EQ, and you'll hear the differences go. So, first EQ. Compressor. Volume cutting. And then last EQ.
You can define it, I know that I'm dying soon. You've been invited when I do. Soon as you stop to think about it, I'll be at the moon. What will you do? Got no excuse. Shouldn't I shoot? Get it at you, cause I know that I'm blessed. Don't wanna finesse with the mess I created. Yeah.
Once I get all of that done, that's essentially the song. I can send that out and get it mastered somewhere else. But you know I do mastering too. So I have this program, Nomad Factories. If you're a pirate, go grab it. I highly recommend it. So listen to it again. This is what's basically gonna glue everything together and lift it up. So.
Dancing my way through this life. Look how I do it so nice. Thank God for all these devices. Fighting through all of my vices. And I don't know why I might flip amongst the mass of the giants. I know that I'm flying, my pants are on fire, cause I'm just a liar, a line. I mean that I'm tired, the time is trying, so to define. You can define it, I know that I'm dying. So you've been invited when I do. Soon as you stop to think about it, I'll be at the moon. What will you do?
And the thing that I like about doing a master after is that you're gonna be able to hear more of the actual beat blend, and that's why I always ask for track outs, because if I do on a 2-track, I can't manipulate each of these little sounds to make sure that they're cutting the frequency to be at the same point as the vocals. Instead, I have to manipulate the whole thing as a whole, so it would be as if all I could do is just, the only thing I could have done is this, just use this, the channel strip. So now listen to the beat without the, like if I had to treat it without stems, and I added I can leave it.
Dancing my way through this life. Look how I do it so nice.
not as
Thank God
full.
for all these devices. Fighting through
not
all of my
as-
vices. Cause I know that I'm blessed. Don't wanna finesse with the mess I created.
I couldn't even do
I
that
know that
shit.
you hate it. Wait, I be moving so faded. Don't say we
remember,
related the day
that's
that I'm
'cause I
making no
eat
time
good
to
and
sit
move
and
some
waste
shit,
it
so-
when I'm out here really racing against the
once
clock.
we-
Cause the time don't stop like drip, top, drip, drop, no pit. Stops till I reach the top. See red lights, I see no cops. Throw me in the mosh, I still end up on top. Cause I got.
And that's there you have it, bro. Real simple, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let me know what you think and leave a review for your homie. Laters.